Hi students, this is Mrs. Wildey. This is our first video lecture for human geography. I like to do video lectures quite a bit, especially for homework, because I feel like it's a good format for you all to watch something, listen to me, take breaks if you need to, rewind it if you need to hear something again, and there's things you can always visit again if you need to. So I usually do these at the end of every chapter as a way of reviewing the chapter for us before a test. But for tonight, for this purpose, we're going to basically go over the logistics of the class, what to expect, what are my class rules, where should you look for homework if you miss something, those kind of things. I kind of like to do this rather than going through this on the first day because it's not as much fun for me or you. Just a reminder, you do have follow along notes to fill in as you listen and watch this. And if you don't for some reason have the paper copy I gave you of the follow along notes, you can find it on both the e-class and the Google Classroom. So if you need to get those again and print it out or work on it as an electronic version, that's available. So we're going to start with what to expect this year in terms of the content. Obviously, with the name Human Geography, you should expect that it's humans' effect on the Earth. Specifically, we talk about how humans have altered the Earth and how the Earth has altered humans. We kind of focus in on 7 core topics, sort of an overview of geography, population, along with migration goes along with that. Culture, we have a couple chapters, one on language, one on religion. Politics, how people organize themselves with government systems. Agriculture, how food has impacted humans. Industry and economic development, how people have been able to develop economically, increase their productivity through industry, and also how they have developed cities and our urban geography. So those are the focus of the main topics we cover. There's a few other chapters within that go along with those topics. So you might be asking, why am I taking this course? Well, it is an AP course, so it's supposed to challenge you. It's a college level course that you're taking in high school. It does fulfill one academic elective toward high school graduation. I want to make sure everybody's aware of this. It is an elective, but it's an academic elective. So when a college looks at your transcript, when they look at those electives you've taken, you have taken a strenuous, rigorous course as one of your electives. It looks really good for colleges. The other advantage of taking AP is that you may gain college credit, which means that you're saving your parents money and you don't have to take as many courses in college. Now that depends on the score that you get on the AP exam, and you take that exam in May. So we spend all year getting you ready for this exam. You take it in May, and then the score comes out in July. So it doesn't have anything to do with your grade, like your grade point average or your GPA or anything, but it does have to do with what score you get on that determines whether you get college credit. It's a 3, 4, or 5 that's considered passing. Now, some schools don't take 3s; they only take 4s and 5s. You'd have to look on your on the college website that you're thinking about going to find out what score they want. So here's our textbook. We're going to get these on Wednesday in class. It is $100 almost, so please don't lose it. You are probably going to read every single page of this. I know you probably have never read an entire textbook in a year, but in our case, we really do. So please be respectful of it. Please make sure when you check it out on Wednesday that it's not terribly damaged. It's going to be a little worn because there have been students who have had it before, but please just make sure that you're not damaging it too much more so that you don't have to pay for it in May. The book is divided up, really, technically it's 14 chapters, but I'm going to tell you it's 13 because we kind of combine 13 and 14 together, and I want you to have about 13 dividers in your notebook, one for each chapter or unit. We spend approximately 2 to 3 weeks on each chapter, some more, some less, depending on the topic and how much I need to prepare you for the exam. And then we also leave time at the end of the year for review for the actual AP exam. So in terms of the types of assignments you're gonna have, pretty much it's three main, I guess, types. There's class assessments, which is going to be homework, quizzes, classwork. That's 35% of your grade. That's the bulk of the assignments, to be honest. The summative assessments are your tests, projects, your summer assignment is a summative assessment. That's a huge chunk of your grade. It's 45% of your grade. So just the reason why this is bolded and made larger font is because I want to emphasize this. Sometimes students aren't prepared when they get the first test back, and if they haven't done particularly well, it really lowers their grade. So even going into the test, if they have an A and they make a C on the test, that's going to bring that total grade down to perhaps a C itself, if not definitely a B. But I don't want to stress you out about that because sorry because overall you're going to have 45% distributed over probably 10 assignments over the semester, which means that that one test when you first get it back is worth 45%, but with each test and project you have after that, that test will only be worth about 4 or 5%. So it will not hurt you for very long, but it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit if you don't do well on the first test. Now the final exam is worth 20%, 15% for the multiple choice and 5% for the FRQ or free response question. That's your essay or your writing portion. We'll talk more about those in class. What else can you expect? Well, it's an AP class, it's a college class, so be prepared to work. We know that this is your first AP class. We are not trying to make it where you understand how to do everything all at once just coming in, but you need to be prepared to work. You need to be, the expectations are high, and so you need to be able to have the motivation you need and take initiative to do the work that I'm asking you to do. We do lots of in-class discussions, kind of like what we did on the first day. We do debates. We problem solve, think creatively all the time. So I want you to be prepared to do that and to share your stories, your opinions. The other thing is I expect quite a bit of reading and research outside of the classroom. And so sometimes I give pop quizzes to make sure that you're keeping up on what I've been asking you to do. So just be prepared for that. I know that sometimes you can't really prepare because it's a pop quiz, but at the same time, knowing you will have some, I think kind of helps students remember as they're, I know it's easy to go home after a hard day at school and go, I don't want to do anything. But the more you do that, the harder it's going to be to catch up. So, please kind of keep up with things, and I'll give you a few more tips on that in the future. All right, so summer assignment. I think I said this in class on Monday, but I want to reiterate it again. We know that we didn't get to give you the summer assignment last year in middle school. We know that some people moved into the county over the summer and they weren't told about it from the counselor when they registered. We know there's lots of situations that come up. So we are giving a grace period on the summer assignment. The absolute last day you can turn in the summer assignment is Monday, August 27th. That's 3 weeks from the beginning of school. You may not use a late work pass for this. It's a summative grade. It's worth the same as a test. And so we don't allow late work passes to be used with tests or quizzes or those kind of things, projects. Well, actually, to be fair, a project I might allow you to do that, but this is not one of them. Just a reminder, the assignment is 2 parts. There's a mapping and labeling part, and then there's a current event analysis part where you are looking at topics that you pick from a list, and then you find an article from a different source for each of those topics, and you kind of do a historical connection with it and an analysis of it. You do need to make sure you are citing correctly. If you are not sure what I mean by that, please ask me. I'm happy to help you. I'm also happy to proofread your summer assignment if you want to let me look over it before you turn it in for good. You have to give me some time for that, but I'm happy to do that. The assignment, instructions, rubric, all that are on both the Peachtree Ridge website as well as my eClass and my Google Classroom. So remember, there are lots of choices or places for you to look for that information. Do not wait till the last minute to try and look at that and try to get work on it. It's going to take a while. There is an incentive if you have it done, turned in, that you're ready with it by this Friday, the 10th of August, you will get a 4th late work pass. And I'll talk about the late work passes in a little bit. So, of course, if you need the time, you've got the time. Okay, it's not going to be a grade deduction if you don't turn it in until the 27th. It's only a problem for your grade if you don't turn it in on the 27th. But if you're done with it and you want to just get rid of it, I can't look at it again, then go ahead and turn it in, and you get an incentive, a fourth late work pass that you can use in class. So, all right, so if you are absent, there's a few different things you can do. Obviously, you've got the e-class to look at the calendar, and you can look at the assignments that are on electronic assignments. Now, if there's any paper assignments, they would be in the makeup work folder on the side table. And then the other thing is for you to ask me if you need help, but I'd really prefer you to ask me at the beginning of class or at the end of class, or if there's a break in the middle where I'm not explaining something, that's the time to ask for some help. But it is your responsibility if you are absent to get the work and make it up. I have 100 students I'm trying to take care of, and I can't remember who was absent when. So it's up to you. You have one person to take care of. You come to me, or go to the places you know the assignments might be, or ask a friend or something to get that information so you're not behind. Okay, so here's the late work pass spiel. You are given, every student is given 3 late work passes per semester. So you're going to get another 3 in January to be used for that semester. But for fall semester, you get 3 late work passes. And again, there may be opportunities to get more than that, but everyone gets 3. And what that does is it allows you to have a little more time to work on it. You have to turn in the assignment. It still has to be done. You have to turn in the assignment with a late work pass the next time I see you. So what I mean by that is if it's due on Thursday, you have till Friday to turn it in. If it's due on Friday, you have till Monday to turn it in. I'm not going to come to your house on Saturday and say, where is it? When you do have the assignment done the next day or the next time I see you, you fill out the late work pass, you attach it to the assignment, and you put it in the tray. And really, most of the work you're going to turn into your tray, as you see in the picture. Again, late work passes can't be used for the summer assignment, and they can't be used for tests or quizzes. I do usually let them be used for projects, which is a good reason to keep them for those things. But then, really big thing to remember, if you've used up all your late work passes, then the assignment will result in a 0 if you don't turn it in. So, please, please, please turn in work. One other thing on this, and I will say this in class as well, if you still have 3 late work passes in December after all assignments have been turned in, then I will excuse your lowest quiz or classwork grade for that semester. So if you bombed a pop quiz, for example, if you've got 3 late work passes at the end of the semester, that will be excused. So it's another incentive to do the work on time. However, please don't allow 0s to be in the grade book. Turn in late work passes if you need that time. All right, so AP test. AP exam is Tuesday, May 14th at 12 p.m. You are excused from classes for that day, mostly because the test is rigorous and you need to be prepared for it, but also because that test or exam is taken off campus. Usually, at least in the past 3 or 4 years, it's been at Gwinnett Tech, and I'll give you all the information about where to go and how to get there and all that sort of things when we get closer to it. Your parents do need to pay a $10 registration fee, but the actual cost of the exam is $92. You don't have to pay for it. The county pays for that. Remember that I said earlier your score is released in July, so it's not a part of your grade, but that score is what is used by colleges to determine if you get credit or not. And a 3, 4, or 5 is considered passing. So a 1 or 2 is not passing, 3, 4, or 5 is passing. All right, so supplies. I gave this out at the Meet the Teacher night, and I think I put them out on my table as well for Monday. But this is the list of supplies that you need. Let me talk a little bit about the optional supplies. Highlighters are really good for when we go through a free response question and do a peer edit or a self-grade on those. Flashcards are really important for vocabulary, although if you don't like flashcards, it's not required. That's why I said it's optional. I think they're helpful for most students, but again, it's a preference thing. The last thing I want to touch on is this very last point. You really need to get a test prep book. There are lots of companies that make them. There's Barron's, there's Princeton Review, there's Kaplan, there's Five Steps to a Five, there's I don't know how many companies make one. They're all pretty good. There's not one that I like, say, oh, don't even bother getting that. They're all fine, and you can get a used copy. If you've got a sibling or a friend that took this class last year or 2 years ago or 10 years ago for that matter, you can borrow it. It's the content is still going to be relevant. Well, most of it. Obviously, some of the current events won't be in there, but most of that content we need will be in there. So not only does this test prep book help you for the exam on May 14th, it's going to help you study for my tests because it's the content that we're going to be reviewing with every chapter. So, ask mom and dad, hey, can I have an early Christmas present? Or, ask around, see if people from last year can give you one. But please get one. I can't stress enough. It's one of those optional supplies. If you don't get highlighters or flashcards or, even if you don't give colored pencils, I would rather you get a test prep book. So if you need some expertise on that and more advice, by all means ask me. I also have all of these. You can borrow them for a night, see if you like it, and then that way you know before you order it or whatever. So I'm happy to help you with that. All right, so what else can you do to be successful? Well, join Google Classroom. I can't stress enough how helpful this will be. It's a great way for you to turn in assignments. It's a great way for you to look on the calendar and know when tests are, what homework is, especially if you're absent. It's a great tool to use for like, what did I miss today? Because I will have everything on the calendar for this week or next week out there before I leave on usually Thursday or Friday. So either if you've missed something, what we did in class, but also if you're going to be out or if you have a doctor's appointment you're going to be checked out of, you can go look at those and you can find out what you're missing prior to. It's a really good tool to use to kind of budget your time, which leads me to the next point. Make a schedule. Stick to it. Budget your time. The students I find that are most successful in my class are actually the ones that have extracurricular activities because they have to budget their time. They know they have practice from this to this, or they know they have a performance then. So they know that the other times they've got to be studying or doing homework. The kids that don't have extracurricular activities go home and they sleep or they text or they get on television and they keep putting it off so much that it creates where you miss things. So make a schedule and stick to it. I also encourage you to keep up with world events. Talk to your parents. Find out what's going on in the world. Listen to the radio. Watch the news stations. Go to multiple sources. That's my big thing. But you certainly need to be aware of what's going on. It will help you in this class. Great deal. Also check out the College Board website. I will probably not show you the link right now, but I will definitely show it to you in class. But you can go to just College Board and .org, excuse me, and you might as well make an account because that'll give you your score in July. But it's a good resource for finding out more about the exam. It gives you practice questions. It gives you all of the FRQs, free response questions that have ever been given since the exam began in 2001. It's a really good source for you. Please use it. And then lastly, just be an active learner. Ask questions of people. Pay attention and kind of be engaged with others, especially in your class. It's going to help make it a lot easier when you're studying. If you can, I'm always desperate for Kleenex, especially when it gets to be cold season. So the more donations of Kleenex or copy paper or hand sanitizer or cleaning wipes, all of those would be greatly appreciated if you can. Thank you. All right, here's the lowdown. Class rules. Be on time. Don't be tardy. This is a Peachtree Ridge rule to be honest, so it's just something I extend out within my class. Please be on time. Please be respectful. We do a lot of debates and discussions where different points of view come out, and it's okay to have different points of view. I'm fine with that. I'm fine for you to argue. Insulting and demoralizing people is not okay. That's never ever acceptable. And of course, please be respectful of yourself too. Come to class prepared. Usually you'll need your book, although I do tend to tell you, hey, bring your book to class tomorrow, or you don't need your book tomorrow. But notebook, pen, pencil, all those things are there. Now, if you forget them, as seen in the picture on the right, there are supplies you can borrow. I have pencils, pens, paper, all those things. If you need to borrow them, use them. I just ask that you put them back when you're done. All right, so class time is a priority. Go to the bathroom, brush your hair, apply lipstick, fill your water bottle, all those unnecessary, well, bathrooms are necessary, water's necessary, but all those things need to happen before you step foot into the classroom. Not the first 10 minutes of class, not in the middle of me explaining an activity. They really need to happen before or after you get done with class. And as a school rule, again, no one leaves the first 10 minutes of class or the last 10 minutes of class. I would also extend that when you have lunch with me, third block, when you come back from lunch, you will not be able to go to the bathroom again. You should have gone at lunch. So again, we only have 30 minutes after lunch, so you shouldn't need to go to the bathroom again if you went during lunch. Also, I dismiss you, not the bell. So please, I know that's hard to do, but please be respectful of me and what I'm saying. All right, cell phones. Can you have one? Well, it depends. There is a cell phone agreement that you and your parents must sign. You got that on day one. If your parents sign that they allow you to use your phone in class if I give you an assignment to do with your phone, then you may use it on that assignment. And that means it's a research or something on an AP Human Geography topic. If your parents don't sign that, you cannot have it. You also cannot have it if I haven't given you an assignment to work on it. There's no texting, there's no going to internet websites, there's no videoing, none of that. It is a major distraction to you and others, and it's getting out of hand. So unfortunately, I got to be pretty strict on this one. Very strict, I'll say. If you do this, now you can put it in your bag or you can have me hold it. If you think it's going to be too much of a temptation, I will hold it for you. But if you have it out where I see it, the first offense, you will have a 15-minute detention with me, and your parents will have to sign off that they understand you've violated the cell phone policy the first time. If you have a second offense, you will be with me for an hour, and your parents will sign something saying they understand that you've violated for a second time. The third offense, that's it. You're going to the administrator, and you will lose your phone privileges for the entire year. I don't care if your parents said you could use it for an assignment. You have lost my trust. So unfortunately, you will lose that privilege. Please be respectful of this. Your phones are not necessary to have on you and available at all times. I promise. I do not have my cell phone. I'm not texting. I am not taking phone calls during class. If I take a phone call, it's probably because I'm worried my child is sick next door at Parsons. That's a little bit different than you talking to your parents about whether or not you should be on the bus today. That can happen at lunch. That can happen in the 5 minutes between bells. Or between classes, excuse me. That does not need to happen during class time. So, thank you. Okay, just a few other, I know we're almost done. This is a lot longer than I want it to be, but I want to make sure we go through these. If you do ask permission to leave to go to the bathroom, obviously not the first 10 or the last 10, but if you do, please take the white pass that is by the door and sign out on the destination log. You must ask permission, by the way. Don't just get up and go. I know some teachers do that. That's just their thing. That's fine with their class. It's just not for me. If you need to go to the clinic, you take the red pass. So that's behind the white one. If there's a fire drill, one of my students needs to pick up the Wildey sign. You see it kind of over here. That is taken by the student to hold up so that the class can find where we're supposed to be locating. And we do go out the atrium doors up through the center stairs to the faculty lot and wait there for attendance to be taken. Also, class itinerary and homework will always be on the front board to the right. I'm very particular about my honor code. I do not tolerate cheating at all. I will ask that you sign this honor code and that your parents have read it as well. So you can read over this on your own. Um, and again, I've had too many kids cheat in the past, and I feel like this, at least for some, will hold up a little bit more, so matter to them. All right, so here's my oath. I am here for you. I love my class. I love my students. I love teaching this. And my job as the college board has directed me is to push you, is to challenge you, not to break you, but to bend you a little bit, put you out of your comfort zone for a little bit, but to make you succeed at that and to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are so that you can learn to be the best person possible. And I'm not going to allow you to interfere with your success or anybody else's success. So please know when I'm being whatever word you want to use, it's because I care. It's because I want you to be the best person you can be. And I am thrilled that you are in my class, and I cannot wait to find out more about you and to share my love of human geography with you. So thank you very much. I know this has been a little longer than I anticipated, but I think it was important. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.